Good morning, YouTube. I got a new mic, nice lapel mic. Should make the volume much better. Even though my phone it records much better and the volume's much better than the old one. This allows me to walk pretty far away, about 100 feet, and um, still get reception with the mic. I walked all the way to the coop and I had the phone over here by the barn, and it was working. So I may be able to even go farther than 100 feet. I'm not really sure. So I wanted to tell you about a little adventure I went on. Um, 25 years ago, this past February, my friend was killed in a car accident. The night he was killed, he found out he was going to be a father. Um, he never he never got to be a father. He was killed that night after finding out his girlfriend was pregnant, and she was only a few weeks pregnant at the time. It was real traumatic, as you can imagine. He was a very close friend of mine. Um, our circle of friends was very close, and it had been broken, and it was devastating. One of the things, oh, here comes Cupster. He's going to interrupt this video, I know it. But let me pause right there and feed him, and I'll come right back. Okay, Cupid's fed. Let me grab my coffee. Stop it. You've been fed, buddy. Go look. All right, so Cupid's been fed. So, um, when we found out this and when we buried our friend, his son wasn't even born yet, obviously. Um, and several of us, without saying, just kind of in conversation, so I guess we did say it, but it wasn't provoked, or it wasn't like, hey guys, let's do this, let's make a pact or anything. It was just a matter of us saying, we won't let this kid be alone in life. Some way we were going to try to be in his life and tell him as much as we could about his father and how his father lived, and just all these great stories about his father. And I think we did pretty good as a group of friends. I know myself and another friend of mine went and, well, yeah, he came up by us and we went and saw him at the grandparents' house there when he was little, a couple times. And then I know other friends did the same thing. Every time he would come up, they would visit, or we would, someone would visit. So fast forward all this time, 25 years, and his son is about to graduate boot camp, Air Force boot camp. And I was aware of him in boot camp, and I was, in my mind's clock, I was thinking he was going to be graduating soon. So I reached out to his mom. This was Monday morning, this just past week, Tuesday morning, excuse me. I reached out to his mom and I asked, when is Eric going to be graduating boot camp? Hey, Meg. Sweet little Meg's here. And she said, well, actually, we're getting on the plane in about 10 minutes. He graduates, starting tomorrow and Thursday. It was 2 days of festivities type thing. So I was like, why not? I think I can make it, do you care? And she didn't really get back to me right away. So I went about preparing to go anyhow. And my thinking was, if I for some reason I'm not invited, or they don't want me around or whatever, that I would just be there to watch, and I would leave after the fact, maybe sneak up to Eric and just give him a hug and leave. I just wanted to be there on behalf of my friend, his dad. For 25 years, I've battled in my mind almost daily about the death of that young man. He was young. We were all young. Um, and I felt I missed too many opportunities to fulfill the promise I made to Eric, um, you know, Senior, we'll say Eric Senior. And, I began telling people that I think I can do it and I kind of want to do it. And I'm torn between doing it and not doing it. And the general consensus from my mom and my wife and even a few others was, if you go, only good will come of it. Whereas if I didn't go, I would, certainly regret it. And with that kind of philosophy, I decided to give it a go, and I made arrangements to get my ID made so I could get on base again, and then I prepared to head on down there. I rented a car and I drove it to the appointment to get my ID. That kind of fell through. We were supposed to um, do all the information and then take the picture. Well, before I even got there, they were having problems with the camera. And so we did all the paperwork and they kept trying, the camera kept trying, and it didn't work. So ultimately, I was without an ID, and now I was about 2 hours behind in my leaving window, which was going to make it hard to get there in time. Um, but I said, I'm going. And with my wife's blessing and the kids' blessing and encouragement, a lot of people's encouragement and everything, I drove through the night from Tennessee to uh, San Antonio. So the drive time was about 15 hours of actual driving, and I slept for about 3 hours in the middle of the night. So it took me, a good 18 hours to get down there. And I was exhausted when I got there the next morning. Um, but I met up with them. We hugged and said hello and everything. And sorry, Meg, I just poked her in the eye. Her mom actually got back to me like 3 hours before I was arriving in San Antonio. I'm driving. I see my message come on. So I check it and she's like, "Yeah, we'd love to have you, your family, come on down. I can't believe you would drive so far," and this and that. And it just really warmed my heart and made me feel a little more at ease that I was going to be welcomed. There's, for what it's worth, um, I dated Eric's sister for a while, and there's a little bit of bad blood. I don't think there's bad blood between us. It's just we assume we just rather not see each other. I think she feels the same way as I do. Um, I mean, I'd love to see her and have a friendship, but I think we're beyond that, and it's best that we just avoid each other. Maybe, I don't know. That's how I think she feels. I'm partial to it, but it was so awesome. We walked around the San Antonio, like the river walk and all that, and then we went and had some Mexican food for lunch in a pretty cool restaurant. And everywhere we went, everyone was congratulating Eric on, Eric Jr., congratulating him on graduated boot camp, and um, thanking him for his service. Just a lot of that type of stuff. It was really, really, really cool. And I know I'm not Eric's father. I'm not trying to say that I'm wearing a super dad shirt. Um, I'm not even trying to. I'm not trying to replace him. Nothing. I'm just trying to be there and act as a mature man in his life would. So I gave him some good advice. I told him. I said, before you go out into the world and we never see you again, that's how it is. And young people he's going to take on the world for the next 20 years, and he'll probably be unavailable for a lot of us. And that's okay. That's what we want. We want him to go out and live his life. And I said, you probably won't see much of me from here on out now that you're going to grow up and go off on your own and all this stuff. And I said, but I want you to know that there's a whole group of people back home in Western New York and all over the country, really, that were friends with your dad. And we would have dropped anything to go to his dad if his dad needed help or he needed us for something. And I wanted him to know that on moment's notice, even through the middle of the night, a friend of his would drive over 1,000 miles just to see him, just to make sure things are good, things are okay, give him a send off. Um, and that I wasn't the only one. I may have been the only one that showed up there, but there was dozens of them back there waiting, wondering how he was going to do. Proud of him that he was going to graduate. And I said I was there representing all those folks, um, and that you know there's much more compassionate people in the back waiting to help you if you ever need it. And I forgot to give him the letter I had, but I got a list of contacts and stuff for him. And I just wanted him to know that no matter what comes down the road, if for some reason he finds that he needs our set of skills, whether it's me or Dave or Joe or Jason Kubicki or Jamie Schmidt or sister or his just anyone that knew his dad, that we would be there for him. I was really honored to deliver that message. And quite frankly, I was more honored because I was the only veteran, and it just made sense that I'd be the one that was there. So, oh, I got a goat behind me. But we prayed. The family prayed for me. I prayed the whole way down there, and things worked out. Every time a door would open and I'd feel like something good was going to come, I'm going to make it or whatever. Another door would slam, like, the plane ticket was too much or the ID didn't happen. Or, driving is such a difficult thing for me between my back injury, my knee injury, my diabetes. It's just really tough on my body. And I didn't even know if I could make it. I told Julia, I'll just keep driving, and if I hurt too much, I'll stop and pull over. And if I can't make it, I'll just have to turn around and come home. But um, I had the energy, I had the endurance, and I'm really just thankful that I was able to do it, because the reality is we're distant enough that I most likely won't be invited to any significance in his life. Maybe I will. Maybe this will change. Maybe I moved up a notch in his world. I don't know, but that's irrelevant. I wanted to stay in the notch I was with his dad, which was a good notch. I want Eric to be blessed and successful and everything. Um, but as much as I was there for him, I was there for his dad too. To put eyes on his son, to make sure his son was good to go. He's better than good to go. Pretty emotional couple days, nonetheless. I'm pretty exhausted. Over the course of 3 days, I've probably had about 8 hours sleep. Um, yeah, and I woke up early as all hell today for some reason. I went to bed at like midnight and woke up at, I think, 3:30. So, but I wanted to share that story. It was a promise made, and I say it like this: it was a graveside promise made to a friend, and to be able to fulfill that kind of promise is just I can't explain the words and the emotions. It just feels so good. So to Woj, Eric Wojcik, the Woj, we miss you. We miss you dearly, but things are okay down here. We're all looking out for each other, just as we should, as we did, as we always will. So love you, friend.